So in this video I'm going to go over the chapter stance and posture. So we start off with the stance, which is we have our left foot slightly turned out and right foot is basically square, probably turned out a little bit but pretty much square. The reason we set our stance like this is we want our right foot pretty much square to limit our hip turn going back so that we tension against the shoulders, so that tension is then released into the downswing, and that's where we get our speed from. We have our left foot turned out so that we're not restricted, so that we can turn through the ball and clear our hips freely. Stance width. The general rule of thumb is usually a 5 or 6 sign about shoulder width, but it depends on individual to individual because like I've got narrow shoulders, some people have wide shoulders, so with your 5 or 6 sign you want to sort of set it about shoulder width, and then just whatever's comfortable, that feels comfortable with the 5 or 6 iron. And then for the longer clubs your stance gets wider, and for your shorter clubs it gets narrower. So moving from the stance, we're now going to move into the position of the arms. And when Hogan talks about the position of the arms, he does it over 3 pages in the book, and most people focus on the last page, and that's where everyone gets it wrong. So on the first page he talks about how one arm should always be extended during the swing at all times, and the reason for that is it makes your arc more uniform, which leads to a more consistent swing. On the second page he says during the backswing your left arm extends straight and your right arm folds in at the elbow. So that's how you're going to set your arms up. So with your left arm, sorry, I'll come this side. So with your left arm, like my arms are relaxed here, so to extend it straight, you're just going to push the back of your left elbow forwards like that. And then with our right arm, it's relaxed, we just turn it in a touch, and that's it. So you're pushing the back of your left elbow forwards to extend your arm, and then with your right arm relaxed and bent, just turning the arm in about an inch, and then you'll see from there my left arm's going to extend, right arm folds in at the elbow, and we can check if we've made our takeaway correct with the club at parallel. We should feel that our elbows are pressing towards each other, and if you're in that position then your takeaway is correct. It gets very confusing on the third page because at the bottom he says it's a good check while we're in this position that the left arm is relatively straight, so he's saying straight, and that the right arm is bent as the elbow points in. And the reason he's saying that is because he talks about turning the elbows in like that. Now when you do that, your arms are extended straight, because when I extend my left arm straight, see how my elbow is going in? So that's what he's talking about there. He's just making sure that you're not going like that. You want the left arm extended straight, and then the right elbow turned in, and then we get our left arm extending straight and the right arm folding in at the elbow. Now we move into posture. So Hogan starts from a standing position, and basically what he recommends is you lower your body as if you're about to sit down into a chair like that, and then from there you simply just lower the club head behind the ball. So for me, the way I sort of teach it is if you grab your club like that, stand up straight, and what you're going to do is you're going to lower your hands towards the ground while pushing your knees towards the target line and pushing your hips away from the target line, just like this. And that gives you the fit, and then we can come into our setup. It's the same thing. Another one, you can bring the shaft onto your hips, really press it tightly, and then just bend your legs. And all this is doing is you're just developing the feeling that you want to have in your legs. And you can even just take a chair and just pretend you're about to sit into it. And the main thing when it comes to your posture is you want to feel like your knees are pushing towards the target line and your hips are pushing away. You want to have that feeling, because that allows you to bend over from the hips, and then your head will bend slightly down from the neck. And the last bit is turning the knees in. Now, when we turn the knees in, so we've got our posture. When we turn the knees in, the first thing you'll notice is an increase in the tension between your feet and the ground. And what actually happens is when we swing the club in the backswing, that tension gets stronger. So when we begin the downswing, our lower body will shift automatically laterally at the ankles like that, and it's and so that way you don't actually have to make that movement. You don't actually have to do that, because that tension, see, I just start in, that just does it itself. It automatically shifts my lower body laterally. If I set up without that tension, my body's just going to see, it just rotates. So yeah, so that concludes the chapter of stance and posture. The next video will be the takeaway.